Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. This is the video that I promised you going over the study guide. So even if you left your study guide at school or lost it, you should be able to work your way through this video. Like I've said in the past, just display the problem, try to work it yourself. If things don't work out, hit play and watch me do it for you. But I encourage you to do as much as you can, not just watch the video. All right, here we've got just exponent questions. I would expect on the quiz that there would be about 6 exponent questions. So remember your exponent rules. All right, here we've got 3a times 3a cubed. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got numbers. We've got coefficients in front of the variables. 3 times 3, that is going to be 9. All right. Now we've got a times a cubed. And if you remember, a is the same thing as a to the first. And in this situation, we add exponents. We add the exponents together. A to the first times a cubed gives you a to the fourth. That's all there is to that one. Let's move on to problem number 2. All right, in number 2, we've got 2x cubed times x. All right, same as in like problem 1, you want to consider the x as the second x as being x to the first. It's implied if there's not a 1 there, it's implied that it's x to the first. So multiplying this out, we bring down our 2. There's nothing else to multiply the 2 by. And we've got x cubed times x to the first. In this situation, we just add the exponents, and you've got 2x to the fourth. All right, here in number 3, the exponents get a little more challenging. So let's just jump right into this. We're going to take care of the right side of this. There's nothing we can do much with the left side, x times y squared. Not much we can do with that. But over here, you have to remember on the right, the exponent is going to distribute to the other exponents inside the parentheses. All right, so let's just bring down our x times y squared on the left times, all right, over here on the right, 5 times 0, all right, is 0. So you've got negative x to the 0. Anything to the 0 power, I've said this many times, anything to the 0 power is going to be 1. So that's going to be, the negative sign still comes down, negative 1, all right, times, now we distribute the 5 to the square on the y, so then we get y to the 10th. All right, let's clean this problem up. Let's bring the negative 1 out front, which is basically means negative, right? All right, we've only got one x, we're going to bring it down. Now we're going to bring our y down. We've got y to the second, y to the 10th. We add those, since we're multiplying them, we add those exponents, we get y to the 12th. All right, that's our answer. Negative x times y to the 12th. All right, number 4's got a lot going on. We'll take it nice and slow. All right, we've got v to the 4th times v to the 5th inside of parentheses to the negative 1st times negative u to the 4th times v squared. All right, let's take care of the parentheses first. All right, the negative 1 on the outside of the parentheses, negative 1 distributes to the exponent of 5 on the inside. So let's just bring these down one at a time. We've got v to the 4th times v to the negative 5th times minus u to the 4th times v to the 2nd. All right, we've got lots of v's here. All right, they're all multiplied. All right, we've got v to the 4th times v to the negative 5th times v to the 2nd. We just add all of these up. So we've got 4 plus negative 5, that gives us negative 1, plus 2 gives us positive 1. So that just leaves us down here with a net of a v. All right. And we can just bring down the negative u to the fourth. And we're done. That's it. All right, number 5, we got a pretty big problem here. This would probably be the extent of the complexity for the test, but there are some shortcuts in this. So you can expect a problem probably to this degree on the test. All right, let's start with this one. Let's start at the top. Let's start at the numerator. All right, like I've said several times, anything to the zero power is just 1. So this whole a minus to a to the negative fourth times b to the second, if you take all of that to the 0 power, you're still just going to have 1. Anything to the 0 power is just 1. Now let's take care of the denominator. We've got we've got 2 times a cubed times b to the negative cube to the 4th power. All right, that 4 is going to apply, that 4 exponent is going to apply to the 2. It's going to apply to your a's, and it's going to apply to your b's. Okay, 2 to the 4th power gives you 16. All right, a cubed, all right, to the 4th is going to leave you a to the 12th. And b to the 3rd to the 4th power is going to leave you b to the negative 12th. All those are multiplied. All right, that's the left side of the denominator. Let's do the right side. We got a squared and b to the 4th, all of that to the 3rd power. So applying the 3 to your a's, okay, you multiply the exponents, you get a to the 6th, and you end up with times b to the 12th. All right. Now let's just do some cleanup. We bring our 1 down. Nothing that happens in the numerator. All right. We've only got one coefficient, and that's a 16, the only number on the bottom outside of the variables. So the 16 comes down. Now let's deal with our a's. A to the 12th times a to the 6th is going to give us a to the 18th. All right. B to the negative 12th times b to the 12th. You add the exponents, you get b to the 0, which is 1. All right. So we can clean this up a little bit. Our final answer is 1 over 16 a to the 18th. All right, number 6. Number 6 is probably the hardest problem on the study guide. All right, I doubt that I'll have anything to this complexity on the test, but this is a really good practice question. All right, dealing with the numerator on top. The square over here, the 2, is going to apply to 5 things. It's going to apply to the x squared. It's going to apply to y to the negative first. It's going to apply to the 2. It's going to apply to x to the negative third. And it's going to apply to y squared. All right, so let's just start taking them one at a time. All right, x squared squared is going to give us x to the 4th. All right, multiplying the exponent of the y to the 1st times 2, we get y to the negative 2nd. All right, now we move on to the 2. 2 squared is 4. All right, moving on to the x to the negative cubes, that becomes x to the negative 6th. And finally, y squared becomes y to the 4th. All of that is going to be over top of 2y. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. All right, we've got x to the 4th here, and we've got x to the negative 6. All right, we add those exponents. We get x to the negative 2. All right, we can just bring down this 4. All right, for now, we just bring it down. All right, now let's look at the y's. Y is negative 2 and y to the 4th. You add those together, you get y squared. All that over 2y. All right. Now let's clean this up a little bit. We've got 4 and we've got 2. We divide those. All right. We get 2 in the numerator. All right. X to the negative second. You know that you can't have a negative exponent. All right. That means x comes to the bottom and the negative square becomes a positive square. So we're done with the numbers and we're done with the x's. We just have to deal with the y's. All right. We've got y squared over top of y negative 1. All right. We know that when they're in a fraction form, we subtract the exponents. So y second, y first, we end up with y to the first. And that's just y, and it goes in the top, and we're done. So like I said, nasty problem. Probably won't have one like it on the test, but it's a good practice question. All right, we've got 4 problems coming up here where it's multiplying binomials, right? What I'm going to do is, instead of doing these 2 ways, I'm going to alternate doing them by FOIL and box. You're all going to have to come up with your own, you're going to have to come to your own conclusion which one you like the best. This first one, I'm going to do FOIL. All right, FOIL is first, outer, inner, last. So we're going to multiply the first ones. We're going to multiply the outer ones. We're going to multiply the inner ones. And we're going to multiply the last. All right, in that order. So the first is going to be 3b times 5b, which is going to give us 15b. All right. Then we're going to multiply the outer, which is 3b times 1, which is going to be plus, oops, I forgot my square on this one. All right, it's going to be plus 3b. Inner, minus 5, negative 5, times 5b, which is going to give us minus 25b. And last, I'm going to multiply the negative 5 times the 1 and get minus 5. All right, got a little cleanup work to do in the middle. I've got to combine like terms. My final answer is going to be 5b squared minus 22b minus 5. All right, we're up to number 8. And if you look on if you've got your worksheets, you can tell this is the way the problem is listed on the sheet. 3x plus 1 times 3x plus 1. Another way, and I just want to take a second to point this out, I could have wrote this problem is like this. Anything times itself is squared. So I could have written it like this. So keep in mind, you may see it written like the quantity of 3x plus 1 squared might be written like this here on a test. All right, but like I promised, I'm going to do half of these box method, half of these FOIL method. I've already got my box written up. All right, if I multiply 3x times 3x, I get 9x squared. If I multiplied 1 times 3x, I get 3x. And same thing down here, 3x times 1, I get 3x. And finally, 1 times 1, I get 1. All right, we have to combine these like terms now to finish off this problem. I bring out my 9x squared. All right, 3x plus 3x is going to give me 6x. And bring down the 1. There's my final answer, 9x squared plus 6x plus 1. All right, number 9, we're up to doing our FOIL method on this one. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is multiply r times 5r, the first, which is going to give me 5r squared. All right, next thing I'm going to do is multiply our outer, which is r times negative 3, which is minus 3r. And then I'm going to multiply inner, which is 8 times 5r, which is going to give us plus 40r. And finally, I'm going to do last, which is positive 8 times negative 3, which is going to give us minus 24. All right, one last step to do before we're done. We have to combine those middle terms, bring down our 5r squared, minus 3r plus 40 is going to give us a plus 37r. Bring down the minus 24, And we're done. All right. Number 10 is our last multiplying binomials. All right, and it's going to be a box method. I've already got it laid out here. We've got minus 2n minus 1, negative 2n minus 1, times negative 8n minus 3. So let's get started. Starting in the upper left-hand corner of the box, minus 8n times negative 2n is going to give us 16n squared. All right, working across, negative 1 times negative 8n is going to give us plus 8n. Down the lower left-hand side, negative 2n times negative 3 is going to give us 6n. And finally, down the right-hand corner, negative 1 times negative 3, negative times a negative, is going to give us a positive 3. All right, combining like terms, all right, bring down the 16n squared, bring down our plus 3, then combine 8n plus 6n, which is 14n, 16n squared plus 14n plus 3. That's our answer. All right, number 11 is a little different animal. It's a trinomial. Trinomial means three different terms times a binomial, which is two different terms. All right, I would definitely strongly suggest making this a box method. All right, you start getting a lot of numbers flying around, and it's the best way of being like a mathematical accountant, keeping track of things. So I already got the box set up here. I've got 5x squared, all right, and x up in the left-hand corner, so that's where we're going to start. 5x squared times x is going to give us 5x cubed. Working across, 4x times x is going to give us 4x squared. And next, 8 times x is going to give us 8x. All right, on the bottom, we got negative 1 times 5x squared, so that's going to be minus 5x squared. All right, negative 1 times 4x is going to be minus 4x. And minus 1 times minus negative 1 times 8 is going to give us negative 8. All right, we're going to combine terms. And if you haven't figured it out or paid attention to it yet, you're always combining in diagonals. All right, first one is going to come down, 5x cubed. All right, then we're going to combine the squares. Got negative 5x squared plus 4x squared, which is going to give us minus x squared. 1x squared, negative 1x squared. Then we combine negative 4x and 8x. We end up with minus negative 4x. Oh, I'm sorry, that's plus 4x. All right, then finally, we end up with negative 8. So there's your answer for trinomial. Again, I strongly suggest, just like the next problem that's coming up, number 12, please use a box method. All right, as advertised, number 12 is a trinomial times a binomial. All right, I already got the box set up. 3 across the top, 2 down the side. Let's go ahead and do this. 5x times 4x squared is going to give us 20x cubed. All right, 8x times 5x is going to give us 40. Make that cubed. 40x squared. All right, and then finally 2 times 5x is going to give us 10x. All right, the bottom row, 8 times 4x squared is going to give us 32x squared. All right, 8 times 8x is going to give us 64x. And 2 times 8 is going to give us 16. All right, let's start combining these, working in diagonals. Our first one is 20x cubed plus 40 plus 32, that's going to give us 72x squared. 64 plus 10 is going to give us 74x. and we just bring down the 16, and we're done. All right, this problem, number 13, is synthetic division. So what I did was I set it up a little different. I wrote it like a fraction, just kind of a subtle reminder that a fraction is division. It's dividing by x minus 9. All right, if you remember on synthetic division, all right, we want to divide by the negative of the number portion of this mononomial, which basically means we switch the negative 9 to a positive 9. All right, I went ahead and set this up. I wrote down the coefficients. The coefficients of x to the 5th is 1. The coefficients of negative x to the 4th is negative 8. Then you've fallen across here negative 8, negative 12, 21, and 45. All right, for synthetic division, we draw this line. All right, we seed the problem with a 1. All right. Now we get into our repetition as far as multiplying and adding. All right, let's get started. 9 times 1 is going to give us positive 9. Add negative 8 and 9 together, we get a positive 1. Let's do it again. 9 times 1 is going to give us positive 9. We add that to negative 8, and again, we get a positive 1. All right, multiply 9 times 1, get 9. We add that to negative 12, we get a negative 3. 9 times negative 3 gives us a negative 27. We add that to positive 21, we get a negative 6. Then 9 times negative 6 gives us negative 54, which gives us a total, when you add it to 45, of negative 9. That negative 9, as you need to remember, is our remainder. So let's go ahead and write this down. This is going to be x to the 4th, right, plus x cubed plus x squared minus 3 minus 3x minus 6 with a remainder of negative 9. All right, number 14 is another synthetic division problem. All right, we're dividing by k plus 9. So over here on the left, I set up my number I'm going to divide by, which is the negative of the positive 9, or just another way of thinking about it, just changing the sign. We're going to use negative 9 as our number we divide by. All right, let's set this up. I've got all the coefficients here. We get k to the 5th is a 1, k to the 4th is 4, negative k cubed is going to be negative 68, plus 41, k squared is going to be 41, and so on. All right, like all other synthetic division problems, we seed it by bringing down the first coefficient, which is a 1. Now we're ready to start doing our multiplication and adding. Negative 9 times 1 is going to give us negative 9. Add that together, we get negative 8. Negative 9 times negative 8 is going to give us a positive 72. Add negative 68 and 72 together, we get a positive 4. All right, negative 9 times 4 is going to give us a negative 36. If we add that to 41, we get a 5. Negative 5 times 5 is going to give us a negative 45. Add that to 37, we get a negative 8. Then finally, negative 9 times negative 8 is going to give us a positive 72. We add that to negative 72, we get 10, which we know is going to be our remainder. All right, now we have to bring it down. All right, our answer is going to be x to the 4th minus 8x to the 3rd plus 4x squared plus 5x minus 8 with a remainder of 10. All right, number 15 is long division. And I know this is your least favorite thing on the test, but we will have at least 1 or 2 questions on the test for long division. All right, this one is b cubed minus 4b squared minus 68b minus 41 divided by b plus 6. All right, let's get started. All right. Like always, we look at the furthest left and set up our pivot. What do we have to multiply b by to get b cubed? And the answer is b squared. All right. All right, now we have to go back and multiply b squared by both the b and the 6. All right, so b squared times b is going to give us b cubed. B squared times 6 is going to give us 6b squared. All right, we have to subtract those. B cubed minus b cubed, 0, goes away. Minus 4b minus minus 4b squared minus 6b squared is going to give us minus 10b squared. Now we just bring down the rest of the problem. Minus 68b minus 41. All right, again, we're going to set up our pivot. What do I have to multiply b by to get negative 10b squared? The answer is minus 10b. That's our pivot. All right, let's multiply this. B squared times b is going to give us negative 10b squared. All right, see what I did there? Negative 10b times b is going to give us negative 10b squared. But I have to multiply it by both. Negative 10b times 6 is going to give us minus 60b. All right, we're going to subtract these. All right, okay, minus 10b squared minus negative 10b squared, that's the same thing as plus, that goes away. Minus 68b minus negative 60b, minus here, that becomes a positive. This becomes negative 8b minus 41. All right, setting up our pivot. B. What do we have to multiply b by to get negative 8b? The answer is negative 8. Now let's multiply negative 8 times b is going to give us minus 8b. Negative 8 times 6 is going to give us negative 48. Right? We subtract. All right, so the 8b is going to go away. I've got negative 41 minus negative 48, which add 48. That leaves us with 7. All right, so our answer is going to be b squared minus 10b minus 8, remainder 7. All right, final problem. We've got m cubed minus m squared minus 76m minus 40 divided by m plus 8. We're supposed to do this using long division, so let's go ahead and set this up. All right, let's set up our pivots. What do I have to multiply m by to get m cubed? The answer is m squared. All right, now I'm going to multiply the m squared times the m plus 8. I end up with m cubed plus 8m squared. All right, subtract those. I end up with minus 9m squared minus 76m minus 40. All right, setting up the pivot again. What do I have to multiply m by to get negative 9m squared? The answer is negative 9m. All right. So if I multiplied negative 9m times m, I get minus 9m squared. If I multiplied negative 9m times 8, I get minus 72m. I subtract those, right? I end up with minus 4m minus 40. All right. Set up my pivot one more time. What do I have to multiply m by to get negative 4m? Answer is minus 4. All right, let's do the math on this. Negative 4 times m is going to give me minus 4m. Minus 4 times 8 is going to give me negative 32. Right, subtract those. I end up with negative 8 as my remainder. And the answer of m squared minus 9m minus 4 with the 8, negative 8. Oops, forgot that. Negative 8 as my remainder. All right, hope this helped. Good luck studying for the test. If you had any problems with any portion of this, I just say go back to that portion and review it. Have a nice weekend, and I will see you Monday morning.